Hi, it's Tess. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be talking to you today about how to live in the promises of God in a three-part series. Do you ever ask yourself, I know there's more for my life, but what is it? Maybe you have a younger son that went to college or a daughter and you're thinking, oh boy, I'm about to empty nest. What's God have in store for me? Or maybe you are in a job that you want to change and you're thinking, what are the other options? What are options that I have? Or maybe you've had to move and now you're starting all over. I know that's been the case for me just about a year and a half ago. My husband and I made a move and it kind of feels like we've had to start over and making new friends and starting over in a new place. So what does God have for me in this new place, in this new season? Well, today we're going to talk about how, and no matter what season you're in, how to step into the promises of God. And first, I think you really need to know and believe that He has a plan for you and a purpose for you in whatever season you're in. It's very specific. It's for you. That scripture in Jeremiah that says, I have plans to prosper you and to give you hope in the future, is for all of us in every season. That's God's intention as a loving Father, that you step into a new purpose, you step into a new plan, and He has that for you. So how do you do that? Well, I believe there's three principles that are really important for you to know and believe and to follow. And the one of them is to be settled in your mind of the truth of God's love and His grace. And that word settle can be a legal term, right? Settlement. So it has to be so definite in your mind and irrevocable. And we'll talk about that. The second thing, it's important to know and believe in God's promises. So you got to know what they are, and then you got to really believe them for you. And the third thing is how to align with God and His promise so that you're living in these promises. So part one I'll discuss today in this video, and it's being settled in your mind of the truth of God's love and grace for you. In John 19:30, Jesus' last words before He died, He said, "It is finished." We know that Jesus, He resurrected, He lived in His resurrected body for another 40 days before He went to heaven. So He Himself wasn't finished. He's alive and lived on. But what did He mean when He said it is finished? Well, the Greek word for it's finished is teleo, T-E-L-E-O. And what it means is completed, accomplished, and paid. So He was saying that something was paid, something was completed, something was accomplished. Well, what was that? In Matthew 17, verse 24, that same word, teleo, the Pharisees used when they asked the disciples, does your teacher pay, does your teacher teleo a tax? Another scripture, Romans 13:6, it references, this is why you pay, this is why you teleo a tax. Scholars say that during that time, if you had an account and it was paid in full, that the version of that word in the perfect tense, which is tetelestai, was stamped on that receipt saying paid in full. And so it's perfect tense. That means it's completed. Like, I saw the movie. I have mowed my lawn. It is finished. That action was complete. Paid in full. Well, what did Jesus pay in full? In Hebrews 7:27, it says, unlike the high priest who does not need to offer sacrifices day after day, Jesus sacrificed for their sins once and for all. So for all mankind's sins, past, present, and future, it has been paid. And so specifically for you, it's important that you understand that any mistakes you make today, you make tomorrow, you've made in the past, they have all the consequences. The wages of sin is death, the scriptures say. That has been paid. It is clean. You owe no debt. That is amazing, right? So this is huge. And I want to give an illustration, because not only did Jesus pay our debt so that we don't have to pay the price of sin, but He's been super gracious. And so there's a difference between mercy and grace. If you think about, let's say, a 17-year-old boy who takes his dad's car and is caught speeding, and then he's given a speeding ticket, and imagine the father says, "Son, don't worry, I'm going to pay that ticket." Okay, that's mercy because he doesn't have to pay the ticket. But then imagine that the father turns around and says, "Not only am I going to pay the ticket, but I want to get you a new car." Well, that's really gracious because he is giving him something he has not earned, didn't work for, didn't merit it. It was just a gracious gift. That is our Father for you. Mercy and grace. It is settled because of the cross. It is paid in full. The other thing that Jesus did on that cross that was finished is he fulfilled a lot of prophecies. There's over 324 prophecies in the Old Testament about Jesus. For just one example is the prophecy in Psalm 34:20 that says that Jesus' bones will not be broken. No bone will be broken. And we know that when the soldiers got to Jesus, they didn't break his bones because he was already dead. But they did do that to the thieves. So we know that no bones were broken, which is a scripture that was fulfilled. So it's imperative that for you to walk in God's promises, that you understand that it's not because you earned them, because of your talent, because of your gift. It is simply because you are a daughter or a son of God that makes you deserving because of what Jesus did on the cross. And that just has to be settled in your mind. It's just not even questions. And because when you think of a cross, right, and what Jesus went through, if you don't think of yourself as worthy or deserving because you've made mistakes, it's like we're saying, well, the cross wasn't enough, God, it wasn't enough. There wasn't enough payment there for what I did. I deserve something more. That was a lot what Jesus did on the cross. So it has to be something that is just settled in your mind that you deserve to walk in the promises of God simply because of Jesus and because of what he did on the cross for you. Thank you for joining me, and join me in part 2 for what are his promises and what's the meaning of a promise. Thank you.